Lead and Be Legendary presents A Name Tag is Necessary.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of A Name Tag is Necessary. We are on episode, I believe this is 60, and we got a returning guest. First off, we'll say a relative, my cousin, one of my many talented cousins at that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people say, "Your whole family." Like, yeah, I know. Just go do your research. But definitely proud of him, and also he's a composer, guitarist, and we're gonna get into what his latest endeavor is in the music space as well. But Chris Sholar, welcome, man.
Thank you for having me, man. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you back, man. It's a very dope background, by the way. I know I mentioned it off mic, but yeah, it's super dope background, man, for sure. So I want to jump right into it before I get into the meat and potatoes of everything. Like I said, I ain't gonna keep it too long, but I ask a lot of my guests this as of recent, and the question is, with your career and life outside of your career, how do you manage to balance your day-to-day responsibilities?
Right now in my career, I just got to the point where it's kind of one and the same, because now everything is streamlining through music. I'm a music professor at William Patterson University, so
wow, dope.
I run the pop division over there, teaching all of the guitar, and I'm working on obviously my own music that I'm calling Frequency Journeys, the stuff that I make, meditative stuff. So it's kind of, when you say balance, like, do you mean like with family? Like,
yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Well, by now they're used to it, because now my kids, my kids are a bit older, so they kind of grew up around my time trying to get to what I'm doing now, which is spending a lot of time working on my craft. Early years touring a lot. You know, I was just touring and going all the time. As you get a little bit older, you don't want to be running around doing them all over.
That could be taxing.
Yeah, over time, it's definitely a young man's game.
Man.
But I mean, I still enjoy it. But now, how you manage it is you start looking at things in a whole as you start looking at multiple streams of income, not just touring for one thing. So you could be looking at, as you're doing yourself, licensing music, where I professor 2 to 3 days a week, where I go on tour doing my own stuff. And I also have my private practice that I'm doing, where I take people's affirmations. I have a few clients where I take their affirmations and I compose music to them, and then they listen to it for a month. And that's why I started calling Frequency Journeys. Yeah. So I started doing that a couple of years ago. I was just doing it for myself.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I started sharing it with friends, because everybody was like, well, not during the pandemic. So I started sharing it with friends. I happened to share with a particular friend of mine, Esperanza Spalding, the bass player.
Okay. I know that name. Yeah.
Right. So she's at the time also teaching at Harvard University. So I shared it with her, took her voice, composed music around. She was like, I gotta get you up at Harvard doing this. So during the pandemic, I was actually teaching that at Harvard, at Harvard University. Yeah. From Harvard doing when we were doing the Zoom things going on, because what I was doing was just different and unique, because it uses the person's their own voice, it uses their own affirmations, and then
man.
Yeah. So I started doing that, and then it started opening these different doors, where one door opened, I started doing a thing at Harvard, and then another friend heard about it, and they were like, they had me at New York Fashion Week, because somebody had did some clothes based on the chakras, and he was like, we need you to put music with that. And then after that, somebody connected me to a well-known celebrity who I can't mention their name because of confidentiality agreements, but it was their birthday, and they brought me in, and I did a meditative set and started doing stuff with affirmations with their voice. And it just started opening up these doors, and every door that opened up, I just walked through them. I didn't have a whole thing planned out. I was just going for it. So how you balance it is, there isn't a written way. There isn't like this one rule that works for everybody, but when the door opens up, go through it. I'm a person of action. I'm a person that's like finding my way, figuring it out, and saying, oh, this is open. Okay, let me go ahead and run and try to make this work for myself. So I've taken that to teaching it at Harvard, to working with some well-known celebrities that have clients, and then starting this thing that I'm like trying to incorporate it into the music I make that I call frequency journeys that I'm wearing on my hat.
Dope. Got the merch. Yeah. See.
Yeah. I'm building that up now. The t-shirt. So how you balance it is, man, is you see a window of opportunity and you go for it. And sometimes you make it, sometimes it's a perfect balance, sometimes it's not. You know, balancing yourself is sometimes you don't shake your ground because, you know, I'm new to the merch game. But I've been around.
Same. I like tiptoe in and out of it. And I made a post in my stories on Instagram and I said I just ordered some merch for the for this show. I got one where we talk about the MCU. With me and my dog Peace of Mind, and that's coming, and I got just a specific Leading Me Legendary merch as well with the Seagull logo. Yeah, this one here, and this one is for folks that it says usually overthinking. I just was like it embodied me as a person, like in general. I got to put this one back up on the site, so actually I'll do it like once this episode is ended. And I put a post up and I said when that merch come in, I'm wearing it every episode recording. Like it's a uniform. I don't care. Because I feel like if I don't, then it's like it's out of sight, out of mind, or whatever. So the more I wear it, people are like, you wearing the same thing. It's like I'm not wearing it every day. I'm only doing it. Clearly, I'm gonna wash it and do it like per episode or whatever. Because I want that merch to really like travel and have legs. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency. Because we're used to wearing everybody else's merch. We're used to always putting on somebody else's labels and on our clothes every day. We don't have a problem with that. But then when it comes to ourselves, we want to be subconscious.
Yeah, man.
Get out of that, you know. So balancing that is getting your mind used to promoting yourself and bigging yourself up when nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Wearing your shirt. If you don't mess with it, how somebody else gonna mess with it?
Exactly. And I don't want it to be like where I'm trying to force people to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I'm wearing it because I like it. You know what I'm saying? And I want it to be where somebody just like shout out to our cousin Ak. Like I remember one time he just hit me like, yo, man, I just got I just ordered your Leading Me Legendary hat. And I was like, dope. And then a couple other people did it. And it was just organic. It wasn't me trying to force it. They just knew that I had the site up and then went and grabbed it or whatever. So I appreciated that. So I'm same like you. I'm like, man, I'm fairly like I've always created merch and put it out there. But I was like, no, I got to actually like wear it more often. Like I was always wearing the Leading Me Legendary hat itself or the label hat itself, but not necessarily enough in episodes or in visuals. Like here and there I would, but other than that, I don't want to keep wearing it, man. But I was like, no, this is a uniform. Like how Chance did with the 3 hat. Like every time we saw Chance, he had that 3 hat on. He was like doing numbers with it. You know what I mean? So one thing go ahead.
The point I saw Tyler the Creator talking about this recently about even promoting your own music. Getting tired of putting it out on every day. He's like, my album has been out for a year and I'm still promoting it every day. Rick Ross talking about every day, every time he's on social media, he's promoting this stuff. And I don't know what that thing is. It's like we like scared to do it. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to nerves with it. But you know, I'm finding my space and balancing that as well with the stuff that I'm presenting and putting out. But it's like, man, I like it. So
yeah, I'm making myself do it. Like we being Nameless, a producer out there from Flint. We put out for Namesake Part 2. So it's been out since October, you know what I mean, of 2024. So I'm like, it's January now. We're going into February. So I'm like, by the time folks hear this episode, I'm like, man, I got to keep promoting it. You know what I mean? I got to keep doing things and like creating pieces to get, because it's new to somebody. You know what I mean? It's old to me. Like we've been creating it for years. So I'm like, I got to keep going with it. I can't move on to the next that fast. Now I can create for other projects up and coming or songs or whatever, but it's like I can't come off of it, man. One thing, so when did you decide to really, well, you talked about what happened like with the school, but like I remember when you made that not necessarily an official announcement, but the first time I had you on this show and you talked about it, you was like, yeah, one thing I'm gonna be working on. At this time we said like just frequencies or whatever. It hadn't come up with frequency journeys as of yet. But I remember you saying it then. I was like, oh man, and I hadn't really tapped in just as of yet to where I oftentimes listen to that sound, like those type of sounds before going to bed. Like it's not a instrumental, it's not an actual song. No, these are just healing frequencies. And when I say they work, like man, they work. Like I hadn't tapped into the affirmations lane as of yet, but I knew people that was putting that out, those type of compositions. But just the healing sounds, like the megahertz of like how it triggers, like, you know what I mean? Like certain organs down, like, yo, I didn't know, I had no clue, but it really works, man, for sure.
And it goes real deep. I mean, you know, even the earth itself hums at a certain frequency, 7.3, called the Schumann resonance. So the earth itself is like humming a sound, a sound. When you sit by the ocean and you close your eyes and you hear the water, that's a frequency. Your voice is a frequency. It's vibration. Yeah. So, you know, we understand it in some ways, because you know how you hear that one song that you love and you want to hear it over and over and over, and it just gives you this feeling, and like you can hear a song and it just puts you in a certain mood. It's the same. I'll
give you a prime example. This last week, and I was telling folks at my job this as well. I said, if you listen to Tony's Feels Good, you can't have a bad day after listening to that song.
Right.
It's damn near impossible. Right. And I don't know what it was. I kept trying. I said, what is it? Man, I'm telling you, dog. Like, it was one day I'm in the kitchen. I'm just knocking out dishes or whatever. And I had the song. I kept repeating it. Like, it had to have been about 5 times. Right. And I'm like, what is it about this song? I'm like, well, one is Raphael Sadiq's, like, the pitch of his voice in that song. Mm-hmm. And then the bass line. It's just moving, man. The boom, 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 doom, 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 doom. I was like, yo. And I told people this, and they said, oh, snap, you right. And then somebody else followed up and said, oh, and Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. I said, that's another one. It's certain songs, like, and it's a lot of songs today that lack it in the R&B space to me, but it's instruments in there that's just moving. And I'm like, it gets you going, man. My favorite genre of, well, not favorite genre, my favorite era of like R&B or like that pop R&B mix, I would say, is the 80s. For me, like, I love a lot of the 70s, like 90s, hands down. Obviously, I was, you know, making my rounds at elementary and going, you know, coming to my own, going to middle school. But like, when I go back and like just start listening to songs, that 80s playlist, man, it gets me every single time. It's like all the music is just moving, dog. I'm like, I love it, man. Yeah. But that counts as healing frequencies to me as well.
Exactly, because it's the power of sound, man, and the power if you start paying attention to what music, certain songs do to you, like certain songs, you can listen to a certain rap song and it'll put you in that mood. Like, I wish somebody did something to me. Like, it could go either way.
Yeah.
So you start paying attention. There are certain things that just make you feel good. There are certain things that feel supported. So once I started thinking about it, I started intentionally trying to make music to help people feel supported, help you feel good, to help you, you know, I just made a song recently that's different than anything else I made. That's all affirmations over this house type, because it's like, man, I do my walks every day, and I want to say, I create everything I need. I am everything I need. I have everything I need. I attract everything I need. And I was saying that in my affirmation. I was like, I need to make this into a song. So I listen to it every day when I get up. And it's something I'm feeding myself. And what they call it's a mantra. It's like repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. And then you'll start seeing it. You know, anything that you repeat, you will start seeing it. So it's a pattern. So, you know, and like I said, it runs real deep with science, sacred geometry. It goes into numbers, the Fibonacci sequence. You can go crazy as you know, you can go as far as you want to, with what it connects with mathematically, what it connects with. Well, we all understand it with the power of music, because we all have that one song that we want to put on repeat. We don't know why. We like, yo, play that. Man,
it took me a minute to figure it out. It's that damn bass line, dog. And then Sadiq voice, dog. It's just like the notes he hitting on. I was like, woohoo, dog. It's a smash, dog, for real.
It goes back. It's an African thing. If you look at African drumming, if you ever
the drums,
drum circle, man, it'll be something where you feel like you leaving your body. Or if you ever been to a black church and heard that sanctified sound, or heard black gospel music where they doing their shout music, it's a very spiritual, spirit-filled music. Like, music has the power to change your emotions, to change how you feel, to change your insides. Like, music is a very powerful thing. So as I'm learning about it, I'm trying to incorporate that into what I'm doing. You know, when I made my own offerings, obviously I played behind everybody else.
Yeah.
I was known for being a guitar player behind the greats. And then it was like, well, what do I have to offer myself. You know, I'm a producer. I can sound like this or I can sound like that. But it's like when I thought about what I wanted to offer, I'm like, man, I want to take people on a journey, on a frequency journey, but a journey of healing sometimes, a journey of empowerment, a journey of support, because that's what I needed. Like I started making stuff that I needed for myself. To answer your question, to circle back around, to help me balance between doing music and family, because some days that's hard. Do you go get a job right now? Do you go?
Man.
And sometimes I need an affirmation to help me keep my mind right. That's how I started getting into it in the first place, and listening to sound bowls, listening to ocean sounds, because I would be on tour and I needed something to settle me, man. Like when you're doing those one-nighters and when you're on tour,
living in a hurry, just that fast pace. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Every night you got a group of characters. You got the weed smokers. You got this. On tour, on the big hip hop tours that I've done, the Jay-Z tours, the Q-Tip tours. It's a group of all type of characters, all types of vibes, all types of things. And you doing that night after night after night after night after night, not going home. And so, you know, you're not with your family. You need something to help focus you sometimes, something to help center you. Whether you're a religious person or not, you need something.
Word.
You know, if you got to go on stage, it's 10,000 people, and you know, had a fight with the girl back at home, and then this guy weird, and this
man,
weird, you know, man, I will be listening.
I just had this conversation today, to be exact, with my daughter's mom. Our daughter has autism, and it's so every day is so routine based, like to where the day is kind of blur sometimes, and it's always fast pacing on the go, just based off of her routine. So like I may get up. I got to get up before everybody in order to like be able to work out or exercise or something and eat, and then be out of there before mom come down and making and prepping the food for the day or whatever. And then the same thing when I come home, it's like I come home, kind of feel like I'm in a hurry to get home or whatever, because I know, okay, now when I get in, I got to do this. She tagging me in. It's my turn now. So I had to figure out something. And man, it just so happens like I was already doing the exercise and then, you know, trying to eat better or whatever. And, getting the proper rest. And I seen something on Instagram that like it was a game changer for me. And the post has said, because that's another thing too, when you tap into those, like listening to those sound beds and those frequencies and everything, the algorithm, like that's the fortunate part of our phones being tapped, because it'll feed into that. And I saw this one post on my feed that said, start saying this every day, like when you get up in the morning or whatever. And it was like, my body is in perfect health. Every cell vibrates with radiant health, strength of it. My body is in perfect harmony. That's what it was. Every cell vibrates with radiant health, strength, and vitality. I was like, damn, I don't remember that. So once I started saying it, became routine. I say it like in the morning. I make sure I say it in the afternoon. I say it before bed. Game changer, dog. That switching up what I listen to, and that whole, like how you said, you got to find some type of balance. It slowed down the pace of me feeling like every day is a rush.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So I would take something like what you just said and put music with it. And you send it to you and you listening to your headphones every day. So you saying it to yourself, but then you got to beat with it. Or I let my clients decide, how do you want me to craft it? Do you want me to put water sounds with it? Do you want a pulsing beat with it? How do you want, you know, like we talk together and walk through it, and then I'll send it to them. So like just what you said, actually we should do one for this interview, for this episode, that maybe somebody can listen to give an example of something that you come up with, that you say how you want. We'll talk about how you want to do it and put music to it, and to get a chance of seeing when you hear yourself speaking it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like it speaks to your subconscious in a different way. Like, you know, it just your body gravitates to it in a way like nothing before.
Word.
So yeah, I think that's powerful energy. I think that's a powerful force. So
yeah, man. I wanted to talk to you about this too, because it was on my mind. Your mom, my mom, my Aunt Marilyn, as we know, we're all a part of a group, and it was that my cousin? I always draw a blank on this. That play anyhow, they had a gospel group, the Angelettes.
Yes.
And man, I remember knowing about the song. I always heard about it. I remember because it was me, Black, my Aunt Deborah. We were all at Aunt Yvette's house. This was around 2000. I remember this specifically because it was around the time of the Detroit Electronic Music Festival, and this one Slum Village was there or whatever. Dilla was still around at this time. I didn't get to go. Milk went or whatever. I didn't get a chance to go. I started my first time hearing about it. I'm like, damn, what are you going to? I remember him just being hyped about it. But I do remember that specific day being at that house and them showing us that vinyl.
Yes.
With the Angelettes. It had the red label or whatever. And I remember them showing me, I'm like, well, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, they had a vinyl and everything. I'm just in awe about it. Fast forward, this was last year, and I remember you talking about it, about how break that down for me, because I'm gonna follow. You're gonna throw the oop, and I'm gonna based on how I kept seeing this.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it that somebody had took the the record company where my grandmother went and recorded it. It was a record company in Detroit, the Hamilton something.
Okay.
And, I guess the kids of that sold the masters to a company, taking a lot of those records without contacting the people. And so a lot of artists, rappers was singing over it. And and I heard it on a YouTube commercial, and I was like, that's my mama's song, because I know the song. I heard it on and so man, it just it brought back memories for one. And then I had to call mom and say, hey mom, there's people in London rapping over your song.
Man.
What? He's like, really? They were just so happy. And when you listen to it and you go back, man, it's such a soulful song, man. It's such a the guitar player on there was a lady across the street. My dad was playing bass. Uncle Kenny was playing the bongos.
Yeah, man.
He was singing on there together, everybody in harmony. It was like, we should also put that in the chat at the bottom. So
I was just about to say, I'm gonna throw the link in the description for the folks that's wondering, like, well, what song are they talking about? Because man, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, and my mom changed the words around for her version of it, of the Bill Withers song. So they did their rendition of it, which everybody used to do back in the day. I didn't peep that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I hear it in my head. It's damn wow, that's crazy.
The thing is, I heard a voice one day, so she changed it because they were doing a gospel version. So gospel groups, the quartet groups, used to take a song of the day and change it. As they do today. They kind of like remixed it in a way. And then now other people are remixing it, putting their raps on it and doing things. So I love that the music is still alive and it's still living. I just want them to get their proper credit.
You sent me, because you sent me one, and there was a dude rapping to it, and it was like a trap. It had the trap drums, and I was like, they flipped it like that.
Right.
I talked to Ace, Beethoven, one of his sons or whatever. I was gonna say his youngest, and he definitely ain't his youngest son, but I was talking to him because he produces as well.
Yeah, I've seen his music.
And he get, hey man, I got about 5 from him that he don't even know. I be pinning to. I'm like, I might mess around and just surprise him and drop an EP or something, to throw a little 3-pack out there or something. But he getting cold with it, man.
Been watching his dad. He been around it, so it's natural for them, man. Like,
their
whole life.
And it's so funny because in hindsight, now that I think about it, when I stayed with them, and I'd be in the basement in the studio, and I'm supposed to be like breaking into the computer, or figuring out how to mix and everything, teaching myself. But during summertime, like, he's home, kids ain't in school. He's in the other room whole time. He's just absorbing, like listening, or my homies will come over, we recording or whatever. He's getting that, you know what I mean? So to see him doing that now, it's amazing to see him getting better. Like, 'cause he still raps too as well, but he don't do it as frequent as he does with the production. 'Cause he always sending me beats. I can hear you on this. This remind me of when you did that. He want me to go back to what it was like in 07. Like like he cool with the sing lights and everything, but he was like, yo, man, when you was doing like this in 07, man, ahead of the basics. Like, he want me on that. I was like, nah, man, I'm grow, but he got some stuff though. I was like, he nice, man. He nice. But I say that to say, it's like, I listened to that song and I was like, it always comes up every time. Like, people always ask, like, man, how come your family, man, how come you ain't never like start a label, and why y'all don't really be working together like that? I'm like, we already did it. Like, we've done it. It just ain't never been in one setting or under one project or whatever, but it's happened. If you go do the lineage, it's happened. And then our parents prior to did it as well. It's there on that song. It's there on that record. And it's like,
Yeah.
Man, I be in awe just thinking about it, like, oh man, this carries on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wild, man. Like when I really think about it. But
and then when you did your first project, and I was still used
very
to
first album.
messing with
Yeah, man.
So it's like
that whole album is family. It's no other producer that I'm not related to that's on there. And I did that intentionally. You know what I mean?
Supported each other, but a lot of people do gotta realize, as we're still figuring it out, finding our way through it. Black had his success. I just saw him last month. Him and Kareem Riggins did a show out here, and I was there. And it's so good to be in New York City to see my cousin doing his thing. And yeah, man, we've always been in support, but it's like, yo, you're just trying to figure out how to decode the matrix out here. We know I remember going to high school watching your brother Alfred, man. Like,
man, we was just talking about that last week. Like, y'all was in the band. He's shocked. I remember that. I said, yeah, I remember it because he used to dress up all the time. And we was like, he was like Chris was the ladies' man.
I was watching them. I used to come and watch everybody, like the musicians and those guys.
Yeah.
And and I remember him playing the Mo Better Blues and playing all the stuff.
Man,
cool stuff. The chicks like, I couldn't play anything, but your brother played music. He rapped. He had his own record. He recorded. We used to be walking to school, be freestyling like these guys.
He's a savant, man. He's really a savant. I pointed back to him, man. The lineage is there, man. I was like, I'm not this today without none of that. You know what I mean? Just sitting back, it's by default too. It's not like it was forced on me. They didn't say like, you gonna do this music or else you gonna be involved. It was like I just would watch and be like, yo, that's dope, man. I gotta do that. You know what I mean?
And they did it to a high level. Like they did it like it was a standard, it was a high level. So him and Calvin was some of the biggest influences because they were so serious.
Word.
They were serious, and it was a high level with those guys. So when I came around to doing it, I knew what level I had to bring it. When I came to New York and my brother was already here playing, it ain't no brothers on the bandstand. It was like, man, you gotta go get your own out here. They're not gonna.
Yeah, man.
If you rapping, your brother rapping, like, we want to hear you. You can't depend on where your brother's skill set. You got to put that.
It's so interesting that all of us got like the ones that sat back and watched the older ones doing it. We was like, all right, we had to get better. Like I tell people, I said, man, I only got better at rapping because I felt like in order to be on tracks with when Ock and Milk and Naps was 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, I was like, in order for me to get on tracks with them, I got to be dope. Like, yeah, they'll let me on, but back then I felt like, man, they just let me on because I'm the little cousin. They like, oh, give him a shot. But I don't think what they knew was that, oh, he really getting nice. Like he done got nice, like to the point where people comparing, like, yo, you and Milk, oh no, man. I'm like, yeah, producer though, man. It's a cheat code. But it got to there. Cause I'm like, yo, he working with the likes of Elzai, Royce. You know what I'm saying? Like all them over in that Marv One, Fat Cat, Guilty Simpson. He working with the hitters. Yeah. And I'm like, hey man, in order for him, I'm his cousin. I'm like, in order for him to like be like, yo, Tag, come on, I gotta step it up. And that was his whole thing. Like he was like he let you, hey man, that verse whack. I don't like how you delivered that. Do it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? So much so to this day, I'll be like, hey man, I recorded this to your beat. What you think? And he'd be like, no, that's hard. I like that. That's okay, dope, fine, that's fine. I ain't asking for nothing else. Like, you know what I mean?
I sent him something like 2 weeks ago. Like when he came to New York, I was like, man, I gotta send him something now because I've just been listening to him, man. He did his thing, and he's worked with everybody, and he's so versatile. And to see grown and to see what he's continuing to do, man, I'm just so proud.
I got a batch from him. I'm like, I gotta be right if I do. And then my brother, Beethoven, man, it's like it's amazing what we did. You know what I mean? I be going back listening. I was like, I forgot we got like a good total of like maybe 4 or 5 projects together.
Yeah, man.
And it wasn't always like that. It was like I guess he felt he had to prove himself to me because I was working with Milk early on, but it wasn't the case. It's like, you my brother, like, let's work. You know what I mean? And then once we did, it became a beast. It became its own beast. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. But that lineage, man, I had no plans on talking about like the family lineage and other, but it came out because it's just so dope when you just sit back and watch it, man, for sure. Yeah. So Yeah, man. What's next on the table for you though? Like what's coming up? Anything?
I'm getting more into the merch with my frequency journeys. I got more music that I have to drop, you know, doing some touring. I got to do some stuff in France this year. And all of these meditative sets that I'm doing will start off with maybe some sambos. It'll start off soft and then they'll build up. I have a lot of collaborations that I've done this year, a couple of songs on Robert Glasper's album. So I got things there like with sambos, and then I move into the jazzier space. Then with sambos, I have a thing I got called beats and bows, where it's like sambos and then like some beats going on. So whatever your vibe is going to take you through a journey where it's just water sounds, and then it goes through some with like some beats. Then it might go into Robert Glasper type stuff. So that's what my show is. So I'm just building it, taking it on the road, and you know, now that people are getting more used to things like this because of what Andre 3000 is doing.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
opening the door more and get more of us into it. It's been looking great, you know.
Now, mind you, I heard you bring it up first before he made the announcement. Because when he made the announcement, I said, Chris he was on. This was 2021, and I remember him maybe 2020, and I remember him saying that he's done. I said, man, that's crowd. Oh yeah, it's up. You know what I mean? So.
What I love about what he's doing is because, you know, I saw them when they first came out. You know, he did his album. He's learning in front. He was learning in front of everybody. He was open enough to be like, hey, I'm learning this instrument. So when I first saw them when they first came out, they were figuring out their spacing. But then a few months ago, and it's like, man, they've been constantly touring, and it's an experience now.
Getting better and better with it. Yeah.
And you know, they still waiting for him to rap. But
everybody
like just say 2 words. But bro,
man, he in a whole different space, man.
And he comfortable, and they're freely improvising. And you know, a lot of us is going to check it out. And I love when Black people support that. I mean, we've been supporting that type of sound. The Sun Ra's back in the day, you know, like we've been supporting open improvisation and expression. And he's doing that at the highest level. He's like one of the best to do it. So him doing that still helps me what I'm doing, because you know, I'm a Black man of color in this space that's been predominantly white. When you hear about mental health spaces, you normally see a white face. So if you check out anything that I've done, if you check out any of the artwork to go with it, you'll normally see a person of color which wasn't represented in that space well.
Right.
Why when you see my animation and thing that goes with my songs, you'll see people of color, because I want us to know that, yo, we're here, we have a space. Affirmations is for us, you know. It's therapy is not just for rich white people, you know. Like, you know, we can do our affirmations, you know. We've always had churches therapy, we've always had that, but you know, there's other things that we can do. So
tap into,
that we could tap into. So yeah,
man, that's super dope. That's the one. You already Grammy family anyway, of course, but this be the one, you know what I mean? Mess around with a whole different lane right there. Get a Grammy for that. You know what I'm saying? I just saw Skills, Mass Skills get nominated for he got like a poetry album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this my man's, we talking about ghostwriting for everybody. He done put out albums too, but he gets nominated for a Grammy with the poetry album. So you just never know, man.
Lil Jon did a meditation album. Lil Jon just one.
Yep.
Now you're seeing
never saw that coming. Never.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was in high school and Lil Jon was like a thing. Exactly. So like seeing this now, I'm like, what? Like, yo, so you know, man.
People are coming into the space, man. So, you know, I think that me and you should do something. We should do something that we're talking about it, and let's just, you know, if Andre can experiment with, let's just get our feet into it and see what we come up with, man.
Yeah. Hey, I got the mic right here. I can Lawrence Fishburne my voice. You know what I mean?
You know, empowering, uplifting, and you know, there's a lot of other things represented out there. But you know, when you look at the landscape of the world right now, and you look at who's president, and you look at what's going on, man, we need to hear something.
It's needed, exactly. Man.
It's needed because it's
needed for sure.
Crazy out here.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, I said I wasn't gonna keep you long. Let the people know where they can find you at, where you active at on social media, and the website, which is fire. I went to the website as well to snag a pic for the cover art. So yeah, man, let them know where they can find you at in the meantime.
My website is chrissholar.com. You can find me at Chris Sholar on Instagram or all social media platforms, Spotify, and all that. Just look up ChrisSholar, and have a listen and just vibe with me.
Yeah, and let them know the latest, whether it's a single or project that they can check out from, doing the frequency journeys as well.
The latest one just came out last month. I'm dropping one every month. The latest one was called "I Am Everything I Need." It's an affirmation to house beat. It's on all social streaming platforms. Check it out. It's called "I Am Everything." I got another one called "Relinquish" that's coming out on February the 5th. All different vibes. That one is a singer-songwriter, acoustic soul vibe. But they're all frequency journeys. They're all healing frequencies.
Yeah.
They're all things that are empowering, that make you feel good. I'm a Grammy nominated producer, so the music is on point. So just come vibe with me and have a listen, and you'll see the merch is coming next month of February. Frequency Journeys as a hat, you can see, and support your boy.
Talk that talk. I'm a Grammy nominated producer. Yeah, talk that. Yeah, yes, sir.
Detroit, doing this thing out here.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you for coming on. I said I wasn't gonna keep you long, but and y'all know where y'all can find me at on the platforms: Nametag Alexander, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, even Bandcamp. Same on the social media platforms. Just throw the Nametag Alexander in there. The link will be in the description as well for me, and where y'all can get the merch. And until episode 61, this is episode 60. So Nametag is necessary.
Lead and Be Legendary presents A Nametag is Necessary.